We were, like, my parents raised us Muslim. They were practicing Muslims. They taught us to practice. Yeah, we just mainly followed tradition, Islamic tradition, culture, religion, all of that our entire lives. I can't speak for Christianity or Catholicism, but for us personally, it was less based on like rituals or holidays or events. It was more based on everyday life, everyday interaction. We were taught that it was just a way of life. It was your mannerism, it was the way you acted, the way you dressed, or things you did, what you believed, stuff like that, which you carried on every day. Yeah, I mean, that's exactly it. It's kind of like something kind of in the back of your mind the entire time. I don't know if that's very different than Christianity, but it's definitely like that. I personally am not. I'm more, I know this is very cliche, but I'm more of a spiritual person. I practice, you know, what I feel is practiced, or to the extent that it should be practiced. I don't go by the book necessarily. If there is like one way to do something, you know. I don't think I've ever seen anywhere where that could be very strictly interpreted. Like, for example, I know that, you know, the story of Adam and Eve, everybody knows that. I know that in that story, like, it was equally taken as they both sinned and they both, you know, were bad. But it was never like Eve was the one that, you know, made him do it, or anything like that. Maybe it was my upbringing, or maybe I just didn't see it that way, but I don't think that there's much difference. I mean,
how were you brought up?
Example.
No, yeah, like how were you brought up as a woman?
For us, it was, well, I have 4 sisters and 2 brothers, one older than me and one younger, so I was right in the middle of 2 boys, and I was never told, you know, you can't do this because you're a girl, and he can because he's a boy. You know, I played soccer, you know, whatever these things that people think are for boys, yeah, like sports and education or whatever it may be that people think that Islam takes away from a woman, we never experienced. You know, I blame that more on any culture you live in.
Yeah.
I feel like women, no matter where, without regards to religion, if you stripped away religion, but you left, let's say, you know, capitalism or imperialism, there's always going to be oppression on somebody, and women are always going to be the second class. I think the burqa got really big after, you know, Afghanistan, like, was put on the map with the war and everything, but I mean, from where I'm from, in Palestine, it's pretty much, like, it's pretty secular. We're more nationalist than we are, you know, religious, especially because Palestinian Christians and Palestinian Muslims kind of come together under that one idea, like, we're both occupied. What's the use of, you know, separating ourselves by religion? So where I'm from, there are plenty of women that don't wear it and plenty of women that choose to wear it. Like, there's not too much of one thing. Yeah.
Yeah, one thing you see most.
Yeah. Afghanistan, I can't, you know, speak for that. I have a feeling it has something to do with their constant, you know, occupation and constant invasions and constant, like, they've never really been their own state or country. Saudi Arabia, I feel like, I mean, it's a monarchy, like, that's already oppressive in itself, so why wouldn't they choose to oppress anything that they can oppress, you know? I personally don't at all think that signifies Islam or represents it in any way.
And the one you're wearing right now is a veil?
Yeah, we call it a hijab. So the hijab is just the covering of the head and neck. The burqa is the face and everything else. But,
just the eyes.
Yeah, just the eyes showing. Sometimes not even the eyes.
Yeah.
I think that's just, I don't know what I would label that. Extremism, or maybe not even extremism, because they're not even taking an aspect and taking it to the extreme. They're just, I don't know, they're just controlling. And I honestly, Taliban's not something like I could really equate to Islam. Like I think they're just power hungry. They're almost like imperialists in themselves. Like they just want to take over this. Some of them aren't even from Afghanistan. And so, not only for the Taliban, but, after the U.S. invaded and, they claimed they were there for women and they said they were going to free them and everything was going to be wonderful. Even after, some women chose to go out still dressed in a burqa. And I don't think that was from fear. I think a lot of women just got, used to that tradition, that culture, and not because the Taliban put it on them and they just got used to it and it was, the easier way of life. But I do think that it came from, a certain belief or a certain position or a certain, way back before it became an oppressive thing. It was seen as like women that were like in higher class society would wear it, and it was, symbolic of their class. And so it was maybe that's why they choose to. But I don't think that any one person can understand it unless they live it. So for Afghan women, choosing to or being forced to, even for me, I wear hijab and I could be like, oh, how do they wear that? It's so this and it's so that. I mean, I don't even have, the position to judge that because they are, an occupied country. They've constantly been in war, they've constantly been invaded, and so it's a little bit harder than, it's not binary, it's not just like, are they oppressed or are they free? I think there's more to it.
Yeah.
We had an Indonesian exchange student once living with us for a while when we were living in Ohio. And her culture is very close to ours where, there's a big population of people that believe in Islam. And some women choose to wear it, some don't, some follow it to the T, some don't. That's how I remember her. But, and she wore the veil, but it wasn't, I think it was the same, I think it was close to our region of how things are. When I lived in Palestine, I did not wear the scarf. I actually wore it the summer I came to the U.S. And so the discrimination I faced here was complete culture clash because there, I didn't wear it and everyone was cool. And then here I am wearing it where, this is the land of the melting pot and everyone's supposed to be different. But here, it's been pretty hard. I've had people, blatantly try to run me off of the road sometimes on the freeways. South Orange County, not surprising.
No.
I've had, personally, I've noticed with job interviews, it's been extremely hard, but I think it's hard for everyone right now. So I won't victimize myself in that way. But I personally have not had, anything major except for, the road issues, but I can handle that. It's more been, my problem with it is more like the Islamophobia that's just like kind of clouding over the nation. Like I just feel like it's being more and more implemented into policies, into laws, into like it's kind of seeping through in neighborhoods and people's minds, and that's what's more getting to me than anything I would experience, you know, because I can handle it. And I know that putting this on every day is going to, like, eventually cause me something somewhere. But I think the scarier thing is, like, that Islamophobia that's kind of just becoming the norm. That's more scarier to me. Yeah, for me personally, it started off religious. You know, I believed, you know, but I think it definitely the belief came from representation. Like, it was more for me like, this is who I am. It's at an important time where I should be representing, and it's not just representing as, you know, if someone would hold a flag. It's representing, like, at a time where this is hated. It's hated, and it's, you know, seen as oppressive, it's seen as uncivilized, it's seen as not liberated, in need of liberation. And that really bothers me. And so I think every day I experience that, like, refreshing of like my understanding of why I wear it, you know, even though there are times where it's like, wouldn't it just be easier not to? I don't think that's necessarily more important than what I'm carrying around, what I'm representing. Like, as a Muslim woman, especially living in America, I think it's extremely important that people come to understand that oppression does not come from clothing. Like, it absolutely does not come from what I'm wearing or what you're wearing or what anybody is wearing. I feel like a girl that's, you know, in a tank top and shorts is just as oppressed as I am, and not because of, I don't like to put on, like, the whole, oh, you know, how can I say this? Oh, like, she's doing it because she thinks that men will want her. Not like that, but I think it's oppressive in the fact that, you know, in our society right now, sex sells. Like, that is what, you know, we're seeing it everywhere. Women are told that you have to cover this and make this lighter and straighten this and lose that and look this way. And then it's like, what's left of us after that? And I think we should just take away from what people look like, calm down, and, like, focus on what's really oppressive about our society, not our clothing. And I think that's something that I really, really need people to understand.